We have had a lot of questions like from Keith and other people about how to get started with a 50,000 foot view. And so what I wanted to show you, goodness gracious, I think this weighs 7 to 10 pounds. I'm not really sure. But if you're looking to get started, I mean, really get started with the 7-minute life, this is a box that we have. It's a product. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. This is how you can get started. John, I probably should have opened it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so if you want to get started, this is probably the best way to get started. This is called, and we just haven't told people about that. This is called the 7-minute life system. It's an entire process that will give you all of the materials that we talk about here. And I'm going to go ahead and open these things so you can actually see what comes in it. A lot of people don't even know that we've created the book that explains all of this, the 7-minute life solution. John was a big help in this. This is more than just the planner. This is the actual how do you use it. All of this is in this system. Again, the next thing, we got a lot of questions about the planner. The planner is a 90-day platform. John's talked about 90 days today. If you really want to get started with the system, it comes with 4 of these. It comes with 4 90-day planners so that you have a whole series of planners. It also comes with, John, I feel like, oh yeah, and here it comes with. It also comes with my very first book, The 7-Minute Difference. This book sold over 51,000 copies. It's the original time management book. And then this is the final thing that comes in here. This is the 7-minute life system binder. And John, so y'all can see it all comes together. This is the 7-minute life binder. Everything that John has been talking about today, we're going to walk you through how to get started. So here's actually how people can get started with this, John. There are all these kind of different pieces, but it's more than just literature. It's actually got the CDs and the DVDs. So not only can you watch it on your computer via streaming, but you can also look at it via the DVD. And because a lot of people like to listen to the CDs, it actually comes with the CDs. So this whole thing, the binder, which has all the handouts, my book, The 7-Minute Solution, the book, The 7-Minute Difference, and the 4 planners have a retail value of about $897. And you know, that's a lot for people. I mean, that's just a lot for people to spend. So John, because so many of these people have stayed in touch over and over and over again, I want to make sure that they have the materials from the 7-minute. We've never even really offered people an opportunity to have the things that they need. So all of this, if you're really ready to get started, the 4 planners for the year, the 7-minute solution that explains how to use these planners, the book, The 7-Minute Difference, that started all of this, along with the actual materials. These are the actual, here's how you use it. Again, probably the most important thing to people is that a lot of this that you're watching started, this is 2.5 hours of training. If you don't want to watch it on the DVDs, you can watch it on the CDs. But John, because we've never done this before, I want to share my screen for just a moment. People are probably wondering, well, Allyson, why haven't you told me about this before? But today, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So today we're going to make sure that people that come to our webinars over and over again, and this is just for those of you here today, this is not for people that have been on the webinars before. This is only for the people in attendance right now, that if you want to get this, it's not $897, it's only $199. for all of this, everything that you've just seen. And if you want to do that, and John, if you'll put this in the chat, you're wanting to go to the 7minutelife.com/now. That's where you'll find this page when you type in the 7minutelife.com/now. It's when you click on the Buy Now button, it's going to take you, I put 2 in there, hang on. It's going to take you to this page. Let me put 1 in there and update. It's going to take you to the page that shows that you can get the entire thing for $199. And then I love it, but wait.
There's more.
There's more. Let me go in and show you this. This was an email that I was going to create and send out to you, but I realized that I only wanted to do it for the people that were on this call. And so not only are you going to get the system, the 4 planners, the 7-minute solution, the 7-minute difference, you're going to get some additional things. It is going to end at 1 o'clock. So if you want to buy this, we're adding in just what John's talking about. We have a goal setting class. It's about 75 minutes. It is live. It was recorded live. It's $99. We're going to add that in because it's a goal setting class. Just as a visual, the 7-minute life system that's going to come in the box, just take these notes down. You're going to get 4 copies of the daily planner. If you've really wanted to get started, the only way to do it is to continue to watch these webinars, but to begin to use the tools that we have. You're going to get a copy of the 7-minute solution, the 7-minute difference, the binder, the e-workbook that walks you through all the classes, the DVDs, the CDs, and you're going to get, in addition, our time management strategies online training course. So all of these things and the strategic business plan templates, I have never done this before. I have just felt like those of you that have been in this course, you can go to the 7minutelife.com/NOW now. And John, I want to, before you go into the question and answer phase, I want to share with people that it's been amazing how many people are coming week after week and they're getting all of this knowledge, but until they have the opportunity to go through the tools, especially the tool that's going to be here. John, you talk about all these things, but I know people want them. I'm just going to take just another minute. This is the platform. John was showing that how he created his priorities. It's in the 7-Minute Life Daily Planner. He was talking about how to understand his purpose, how to create that. It's in this book. He was then talking about his personal goals. You know, why in the world would you not want to have all the tools that we've completed? It's crazy to me that we haven't even told you about all this. Have you set life goals for yourself? Do you want to have life goals? Everything that we talk about, including how to plan your day, is all in this. John, I'm almost embarrassed that we haven't told people that not only can they listen to what we do, and that's really important, not only can they come back week after week, but all of this stuff together is really about $1,097. And it's only going to be for those people on this class. If you want to buy it, it's the 7minutelife.com/now. You'll get everything that we've just talked about, and the offer is going to end at 1 o'clock. And the reason we've done that is because there are going to be people that want it. Those people that want it are going to buy it right now. And the people that want to think about it, you know, a week is going to pass by just like we talked about it. So this is it. If you want to buy it, this is the only time you'll have it. This is a single opportunity. We're coming in on the second quarter. And John, I want to encourage people right now, you know, and I don't have any hesitation saying, this is what we do. These are the products we sell. It's time for you to know about them, and now you can take action on those. I am very excited about the work we've done. John's been instrumental in creating these tools. And my guess is those of you, and almost everyone is still here right now, you're coming to these places because you want your life to be different. And it's going to take not only an investment of your money, we give away a lot of things free, but it's going to take an investment of your time. John, you were talking about getting a yoga certification because you wanted to learn more. And I have no idea what a yoga certification costs, but I definitely know that being able to get everything that we have here for $199 could change your life. And I love being generous. We don't do this very often. It's on the first of the second quarter. John, I really hope people take advantage of this. I know we have other questions. I'm going to leave this up for just a minute. But John, can you make a comment on why you think people need to invest in their future?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell a story that many of you have heard, but it's well worth telling again. And I was an overworked, completely burned out young pastor a number of years ago with young kids. And I had a rude awakening moment one night when my daughter came up. I had her with me, and my dog just came in and jumped on my lap. You love live TV. Sorry about that. Right in the middle of that story. I guess he's feeling neglected. But my daughter, who was only about 3 years old, I stopped by the church late at night, which was not an uncommon thing. And I had her with me, which should have been an uncommon thing because she was little and it was late in the evening. And I was going down to get something that I'm sure I thought was really important. And as I'm fumbling in the dark with my keys with one hand trying to open the door and holding her little hand with the other, she looked up at me and said, "Daddy, do you live here?" And it pretty much crushed my soul. It was heart-wrenching to realize that's how far out of whack my priorities and purpose had become, and that my goals and everything else had become about other things and not what needed to be most important. All of that, I think, would have been avoidable if I'd had these kind of tools. I know that would have been avoidable, that scenario, if I'd had these kind of tools. I didn't have them. Those tools weren't even available at that time. This is years ago. And I'd have given a whole lot more than $200 not to hear those words out of my daughter's mouth. You will have some other issue where something is getting, you're on this call because life isn't the way you want it to be. There's no doubt about that. My guess is there's some priorities that aren't lined up properly the way you'd like them to be lined up. My guess is too, you're not fully in sync with your purpose, the things we've been talking about this morning. And at the end of the day, when you identify all of this, it still comes down to, you got to know how to manage the minutes. Like, you can know your priorities, you can know your purpose, you can have clear goals, but if you don't know how to get up on Monday morning and map out the day and stick to that map as best as possible in a way that brings you closer to those goals, instead of you just hurrying and scurrying all over the place, these will have little value for you. Similarly, if you know exactly how to map out your day and chunk through tasks and stay focused, but you don't know this, who cares what you got done if it didn't connect with any of that? You know, that's when I call it the insanity test. I've oftentimes asked people, if I gave you a magic wand and you could wave it over your to-do list and get it all done, what difference would it make? Well, 20 years ago, roughly, when I went through that experience with my daughter, I had a big to-do list. I had an awesome, almost epic to-do list. But if I had gotten all of it done, it would have just made my situation with my daughter even worse, because that to-do list was not populated by knowing these things. And so I don't know what more to say than that. The only thing, what I don't know is your life situation. I do know this: if you're in this call, it's not what you want it to be. And a couple $100, while that's not a small price, it is a very small price in terms of what it can yield in changing your life. And you can burn through a couple $100 very easily just going out or doing something for a weekend. You know, if you're a sports fan and you go to a football game or a basketball game, you could chew through that from the time you get out of your car to getting to your seat. You know, so you just got to put it in perspective of where you are right now and what are you willing to do to invest in seeing things being differently. And I know you're somebody who wants to do that because you're taking out time to spend time in these calls. So I'll leave it at that. And if somebody has questions about it, let me know.
Hey, John, some people, and I know that we want to get back to the goal setting, but people may have questions about actually how they can get started with the 7-minute life. I mean, this is certainly a first step. I know Jean and several people have been in our master classes. Those are $997. You know, so there's steps that you can take. There's this $199 step that's a first step to really learning about how to use all of these tools, you know, to get your box, kind of like a box that can change your life, to have, you know, the binders, the planners, the books, all of these things. But in addition to that, we also have master classes, which are like $997. And I'd love to gauge your interest because we're going to be having a live class in Bentonville. John, if you can type this in, we're going to be having a live class in Bentonville on May 5th through the 7th. It's going to be limited to only 12 people. And that's going to be $2,700, if you'll put that in, $2,700. And there's going to be an early bird registration that's $1,997. That does include your food. It does not include your meals, but it is during the Women's Film Festival in Bentonville, so you can come in early or stay late. Obviously, Crystal Bridges Museum is there. So the master class, as we go back to that, the master class is a 7-week program. John, if you can pull up the last page from that, or can you pull up something that talks about the
I'll see if I can.
master class is a 7-week program. It is now 2 hours per week. We typically do a morning class from 9 to 11 and an evening class from 6 to 8 p.m. And what you get is that you get a tremendous deep dive into how to set an understanding of the 7-minute life, what's in it. We actually go through the process of creating your priorities. That's an entire class now. So if, you know, actually the $997, but you actually go through this, they also are limited in space. So you find out what your priorities are. But beyond finding that out, you find out how they impact your life. Another class is on how to discover your purpose. Another class, the third class, is on how to set your personal goals. You know, all of these things that we've talked about, we're building from, okay, let's just give away these free webinars, which are vitally important. But now let's get you to take the next step. Let's help you understand how you can take that first step at 197. For those of you that are interested in our next masterclass, we are just forming it. It's $997. And then if you're interested in the live class that's going to be May 5th through the 7th in Bentonville, Arkansas, you need to contact me instantly at, John, if you'll put this in, at the info@the7minutelife.com. There are only 12 spots. It's coming up. We just set the date this weekend. I was on a live retreat with my co-teachers in St. Louis. And so that class live, if you wait, it's going to be $2,750. If you have the early bird registration, it's $1,997. And that's live with me around a round table with 2 other instructors. And we'll be there with plenty of time to actually talk to you one-on-one. I'm very excited about that. And I can't imagine, I don't know what we spent $1,997 on, but I know it's things that we have not had an opportunity to dig deeply into our lives. John, are there any questions about any of this that we're talking about that you'd like to follow up on?
Let me look real quick. Gene says, and thank you, Gene, for throwing this in, masterclass is awesome, changed my life, got so much accomplished from my goals. Yay. You were freezing up a couple times, but I think we got most of it, Allison, your video was.
It looks like we're having some people that are having trouble with their order. Karen, were you able to place the order? If anyone else is having trouble with that,
can you give them a phone number, Allison, they can call you at after the call?
I can. I will put it in chat.
Okay,
870-275-7674. And I'll also, yeah, because if they'll wait until 1 o'clock and call me, or 12:45, I'll make sure that if you call me, that's extended. And let me put that on a bigger plate too, John. But this is only for the people that are on
Everybody have that number?
I'm sorry?
I just asked if everybody has that number. We've got 870-275-7674.
Okay, I'm going to make it bigger on here too, because I definitely want people to have an opportunity. John, I'm not sure why we haven't done this in the past.
Oh, there is one question, Allison.
Sure.
Chris asked, my husband's senior minister in a growing congregation. How do you correlate this personal work with the professional? Do you want to bite that off, and I can add in too as well? Yes,
right now we're teaching a Train the Trainer class. That is another opportunity that's going to probably happen again next summer, or in the summer, where you can actually become a trainer. But we have a tremendous number of pastors in that class because I guess that pastors probably are more overworked and it never ends, John, with being a pastor. So
I can amen that.
all of this I created as an advisor. So all of this material was created for the business world. And I would guess that 70% of the work I do, I've just been hired to go to a Fortune 500 business July 18th. I do a lot of university work, but almost all of this.
Allison, you're freezing up.
I am. Let me stop sharing my screen. Is that better? Is that better? John?
Can everybody hear me okay? I'm having Allison freeze up.
Can you hear me now? Hey, John, why don't you take over? Hey, John, can you hear me now? Yep.
On that question, because you're popping in and out and frozen up right now.
Is that better?
A little bit.
Well, I'm not sure.
Just a little.
Hey, John, why don't you just take over?
I would like to go back to that. Yeah, I'd like to go back to the question that you were responding to about professional versus personal, because I'm not sure I understood your question 100%. But if I'm getting it right, I wondered if you meant this work and how it applies to professional versus personal. And actually, the process is one and the same. For me, my picture's a little muddied in giving you a peek over the shoulder of my process, because I work from home and I work independently, and those things are very intertwined. So when I was setting financial goals and that kind of thing, through this go around, you didn't see how both of those things maybe got reflected as strongly as you would. For example, when I was in pulpit ministry full time, and I would go through this process, what would happen is I would have goals for what I wanted to accomplish down at the church as part of my 90-day goals. And I would just create a personal work goal page and a work goals page. So there's personal and a work goals page. But I would do all this same work around both of those. This first work, the review, I would kind of review personally and professionally. And then the priorities and purpose was just one and the same work. And then the goals I would set a list of goals that were both personal and professional. So the process is the same. It's just a matter of what you want to apply it to. I think one thing that's unique about the 7-minute life is that we encourage, the process is really intended for you to spend time on both personal, family, home life, and work life. A lot of times time management is taught purely from an office standpoint, if you will. And we try to take a much more holistic approach to it, because we're not human doings, just being at work doing stuff. We're human beings, and we have a life beyond our work, and we want time management. Effective time management is going to manage all of life, not just the 9 to 5, but the 6 a.m. till 6 a.m. the next day, or your whole day, your whole 24 hours. So Allyson, I can hear you typing, so I'm wondering if you're back.
Well, Chris had a great suggestion for me to turn off my video. So
yeah, and your audio's solid now.
Okay, awesome. Well, I know we have 4 minutes left. We're getting a lot of questions. Again, almost everyone's still here. I think we need to continue to tell people about the system and all of the things that we're doing, but I'm stunned by this. If people have questions, John, if you'll type in the phone number again, I'll begin to take calls as soon as this is over. So it's 870-275-7674. All of this comes from the fact that I see human beings. I wanted more out of my life. I loved my work. I loved my family, but I didn't have time, like John was saying, to get things done and to live into my purpose and my priorities. John, this is important. These webinars are important. I know people need to or want tools to put this into their life. I shouldn't abashedly say this, but I believe, John, the work you're doing is ministry. I know that that's the background that you come from. I'm so appreciative of how you put your faith and the things that are important to you into this context. And I know by being aware of your priorities, your purpose, and your time, all of that has helped. So, John, we have 3 minutes left. If you'll just kind of close out. I really did intend to get back to more goals. I know the next 2 classes are on that, but it seems like the conversation has continued. So, John, can you just wrap up about what you've talked today and what's going to be coming in the next 2 sessions?
Yeah, absolutely. These to me are the 4 non-negotiable pieces you need to do every 90 days. People oftentimes ask me, why do you redo priorities and purpose? Do they pretty much kind of stay the same? I find that there are themes that tend to run consistently through our lives, but that context can change and these can rapidly get reordered. You can have an illness, or you can make a move or a job change, and suddenly all of these take on a completely different importance. So in the course of 90 days, there can be significant shifts in your priorities and purpose. Even if after 90 days you sit down and you come out in basically the same place, I find it really important to reconnect with those things so that as I do set my goals, that they are undergirded and based on that solid foundation of who I've been made to be and what I am made to do. So that's why this is really critical. As far as once you get off this call, what I would recommend you do, if you have not planned quarterly goals, I would set aside, if you can, somehow make an appointment with yourself for 1 hour. You may or may not get it all done in there, but set aside an appointment for 1 hour. If you can't carve out 1 hour, carve out 30 minutes and do as much as you can, and then schedule the next 30 minutes. But make an appointment with yourself this week. Schedule it on your calendar. This is my appointment with myself. Treat it like a doctor's appointment, or an appointment with your tax guy, or your hair appointment, or whatever is most important to you. But don't let it be violated. And sit down And don't overthink this. It can be as simple as grabbing out a sheet of paper and writing down what worked, what didn't work. Fill out the priority sheet, which you can download from the website or pull out of your box if you're one of the folks that bought the system. Fill out your purpose and begin to at least bullet point what your goals are going to be and what areas you want to work on. Next week, I'll take what I do this week to work on my goals, and I'll share it with you in the same fashion I did this. Was this helpful for everybody? Let me know if you like this process. Is it helpful to look over the shoulder?
Hey, John, I will, of course it's helpful for me to look over the shoulder. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. This is good until 1 o'clock. If you have friends that you know that are involved in the 7-Minute Life, make sure that they know about this. Feel free to pass this along because it will end at 1 o'clock, but other people at the 7minutelife.com/now, if they buy it before 1 o'clock. John, I'm just so appreciative of everything you do. These webinars are awesome. I just want to say thanks. It's now 12:31. Can you give us a finally 30-second wrap up?
Yeah, do the work. I don't even need 30 seconds. It's so easy to sit down and watch the webinar and then have all the great intentions. That's why I said schedule and make an appointment with yourself.
Right.
At some point, it comes down to doing the work that, doing the hard work now. And it's really not that hard. It was fun for me. I'm excited. I'd actually been putting this off. I had been resisting it. And now that I've done it, I'm pumped up and I want to dig more on my goals. So do the work. You will thank yourself for it later. And I'm really looking forward to getting this replay out to you. I'm going to get it out earlier than usual. And feel free to email us if you have any questions afterwards. So I think we need to leave it there because we're 2 minutes over.
Thanks, John.
Welcome to everybody who said thank you. Y'all have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.